Hi everyone, and welcome to the Screams After Midnight. This is our weekly YouTube horror discussion show in which we discuss horror films from the past and the present. This week's film is going to be 1987's The Video Dead. This week we have Tim.
Hello.
We have Joseph.
Hey.
And we have Kevin.
Hello.
So we made an effort for this episode to pick a film that was not great because, I feel like we've been praising things a lot for the first 3 episodes. There was a lot of positivity. And I felt like it was time that we had something a little bit different. So I'll start with Joseph. Did you enjoy The Video Dead?
Okay, I guess there's a few moments that I enjoyed. It's one of those films where the bad is what you enjoy. A few moments such as the chainsaw death and a few quotes here and there probably stood out. But
that reminds me. I always forget to say this, but this reminds me. Full spoilers for the film that we're talking about. On you go.
But that would probably be the extent. Most of it was a chore to slog through. Probably my favorite quote was her talking about the dog chasing after skunks.
I noted that quote down too, yes.
The skunk, she'll try to mate with the skunks, but skunks don't like to mate with poodles, so then they spray him, and then he gets more turned on.
Every line of dialogue that girl had was actually pretty gold. Even some of the things didn't make sense. Like when she first meets the main teenage boy, and she says something like, "I'm your new neighbour. Welcome to Shadow Lane." Was it Shadow Lane? It was a really obvious horror sounding street name. Shady Lane. It was Shady Lane.
Shady Lane.
Yeah, Shady Lane. She's like, "Yeah, welcome to Shady Lane. I'm your new neighbour," but there's no pause in it, so it's this really awkward, stilted delivery where it's all one sentence and it sounds really awful. And then he's like, "Do you want to come in for a drink?" And then she says, "Do you mind if I bring the dog in?" Now, the response to say that's okay would be, "No, that's fine," or whatever, because it's "do you mind?" But he responds with, "Yeah, sure." That doesn't make sense!
Talking about lines of dialogue that doesn't make sense. There's a part whenever the neighbor first meets the teenage boy and she says, "Hi, my name's April." It's awful, isn't it? It sounds like the thing they put on Kleenex or something like that, and it just makes no sense. What are you talking about?
The name of April's,
that was really weird.
Yeah, April's not an irregular name, and even if you were going to complain, it's like, "Oh, they named me after a month." At least then I'd be like, "Okay, yes, it's a month." That's something you put on Kleenex, or whatever she said. There's a couple of great exchanges of dialogue, and by great I mean terrible.
Terrible.
But one just before that is when the guy who knows about what's going on, like the Texan dude, shows up, and he's
Joe.
Is it Joe? Is that his name?
I thought you were going to say the garbage man.
No, when he shows up and he's asking, was there a package arriving? And, did the TV arrive here? And the kid's like, no, but people used to live here, blah blah blah. We just moved in. So after he leaves though, and the sister asked the brother, so who was that? What did he want? And then he responds with, some totally gnarly dude trying to sell us a TV or something. Totally gnarly dude.
I think I was actually pretty impressed because that the director decided to make a movie that had absolutely no subtlety whatsoever. I feel like everything was just like extremely like straightforward and like to the point. It was never like naturalistic or anything. I was actually impressed with that.
He didn't understand subtext, not at all.
No, not at all.
Actually, one of my favourite scenes is actually when the brother and sister earlier on are having like dinner or whatever, and she's talking about how she's starting university, and he's like, "What's your major?" It's like, was it
Acrobatics.
acrobatics? It's like,
Aerobics.
Acrobatics? What? I'm scared to ask what your minor is. Music video.
No, like when she said that, he like literally looks down and spits out his food, but it's like so like obvious how he goes like he's like like it's like not like fluid at all.
Oh man! Oh, and another moment, the neighbor girl who the main boy, totally wants, and
April, yeah.
yeah, April. Even her, like even their exchanges are really weird. There's this random bit where after the things happen when the dog's dead, and they've pulled the trick to convince the owners of the dog that there's nothing wrong.
We'll convince him some jerk threw the ball and he swallowed it. That's sick. You think it'll really work?
But see when they're on the phone later, right? She's saying, "Oh, everything's been okay. Yeah, my dad bought it." She just randomly, before she hangs up, "Oh, you'll never guess this. My dad's totally sleeping with the maid. Anyway, bye." So what the fuck was that? What was that line of dialogue just randomly thrown in there for no reason?
Yeah.
Like, and it didn't matter anyway because like later on the maid and the dad get killed, but it doesn't even matter that she's the maid. They could just be the married couple. Like,
Yeah.
the fact that he's having sex with the maid is like, and that begs the question: where's the wife in all of this?
Also, like they have known each other for like less than a day, and like
Yeah.
she's already like
Open
telling
up.
him stuff like that.
Yeah, not even that. Even just the really like bad on the nose dialogue was like, "Oh, you really helped me out with that dog thing. I'm going to have to make it up to you."
Yeah.
And it's like, just say sex. Just say it.
I should give you sex. Yes, I would like sex tonight. No sex tonight. That's
That
like
was-
basically what they're like saying. Like,
Oh god.
do you think it would benefit to give a summary of the plot of the movie?
I will do it in about 2 sentences. Brother and sister move into a new house. There's a TV which, if turned on, zombies and other weird things come out of the TV and kill people. That's about it.
Only if you're scared of them, though. If you pretend they're
Oh,
normal
yeah.
people.
Okay,
you
well,
can-
yeah, yes, we had. So the Texan guy comes back and he like explains the rules, of this whole thing. Apparently, if you put a mirror up against the TV, it stops them from coming out, or they don't like mirrors. Apparently, they're vampires or some shit now, but the zombies. And the zombie, if you're not scared of them, if you act normal around them and friendly, they won't eat you. That's what he says anyway. But of course, that's how ultimately they get the teenage girl beats them at the end. She invites them inside. She goes outside and she's like, "Hi guys, you want to come in for some tea or shit, I can't remember." Yeah, and there's a scene where she's like feeding them and putting out food for zombies, and they're having a nice little tea party, and then it turns out zombies like dancing, so she tricks them into the basement with the promise of dancing.
I gotta admit, I
Lots
thought
of it
that was
there
kind of
still
cool.
eat each other.
See, at this point, I'm just like, what the fuck? What were they on when they wrote this?
But
Talking about
I mean,
what were they on? There's a really weird anti-drug PSA that sort of runs through it, because there's a part where whenever the teenage boy first discovers, first watches the TV, that
he's high. Well, he's,
yeah, it's like, you never know what they put in this stuff nowadays. And then he throws it down the toilet and he says, "That's enough for me." And then
Well,
at the very end,
see,
whenever the
the
daughter is in
parents.
hospital,
Yeah.
she says, "Oh, we better not hope it's sorry. We just better not. We should just hope that it better not be drugs." It's
I
weird.
love how the dialogue was so complex that Kevin's having a struggle getting it out. I mean, see the thing where he was high when something first comes out of TV. I kind of like that. Well, I mean, as much as you like anything in this movie, just because. Just because the joke where he throws all the drugs in the toilet afterwards, because I was like, okay, that's kind of funny. Like he thinks it's because he was high off his head. Okay, I get that. That's kind of funny. But I mean, I enjoyed watching this for the most part. I do think it drags. Like, once the Texan guy comes back, and it's him and the teenage boy getting into the woods to hunt, I feel like that part of the movie slows right down, because it's just them walking about in the woods for like 20 minutes, doing fuck all, arguing about the fact that he's calling him boy, and he's calling him shit cow, or what was it? Was it shit cow?
something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. He's like, "Keep up with me, boy," and then he's like,
You didn't like their chemistry though?
"Oh
Here,
god."
I won't call you boy. You won't call me shit cow anymore. How about that? You okay?
Yeah, that was a scene. That was a whole scene. Before that though, when the blonde girl sees a zombie in the bathroom and faints, but the way the camera's just on her, it cuts to the zombie and it cuts back to her and she's just on the ground. It's like so awkwardly edited that I just started laughing. But that's what this is. This is a so bad it's kind of funny movie, especially if you're with friends. That's it though. It is terrible. Like, it's not beating around the bush. No one's going to argue that this is not a terrible film.
Not even enough interesting deaths to redeem it.
No, actually, not a lot of people. It's like there's not much happening, and then we get a scene where the zombies kill like all of the girl's family, like the neighbors and stuff.
Yeah.
They seem to
the
like
old
to
woman
choke
in the
people.
washing machine is my favorite, though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that actually was kind of cool.
Because zombies love to choke people. That's what they're known for.
and zombies like to hide in washing machines as well. And pop up.
Now, what I don't really understand though, I don't know if you guys have any theories on this, but the movie starts off with this other guy who gets a TV. It's like
I don't even own a TV. I don't watch TV. Why did someone send me a TV?
It's a famous author that I like when they first show him and he like just looks at the fish on his dresser that's like been dead forever and he looks very surprised. But anyway, like he gets the TV and the zombies come out and then kill him and blah 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 whatever. It cuts to 3 months later. But you see that the zombies are like still out in the woods and stuff.
They've just been lost.
Yeah, they're just casually in the woods next to the houses. Yeah.
So like,
They've just been lost for
have they
3
just
months.
been roaming around this whole time? Like, I don't know, like I guess no one's really been killed because it doesn't seem to be like that much of an issue. Until
Hopefully,
these
it was
new
around
kids move
Halloween
in.
time. Maybe people just thought they were in costume for extended
Maybe.
periods of time.
Yeah.
Well, this just comes back to the idea that this script was written by someone who has no idea how to write a script.
Yeah.
I mean, really, that's
And he
it.
directed it and produced it.
Like none of the dialogue sounds natural or makes any sense for the most part. It's all really stilted and awful. The pacing basically doesn't exist. Matter of structure really does not exist all that well. Things don't make sense, and then it just gets silly with inviting zombies in for a tea party and tricking them with dancing because that's zombies.
Another thing I wasn't sure about. Do you guys have any idea of how old that main character Jeff was supposed to be? Like, I couldn't tell if he was a
17,
teenager.
yeah.
Like, I didn't know if he was still in school, if he was in college. Like, he looked pretty young, but then
Yeah,
it's kind of like,
He looked younger than the sister, but it felt like he was like the one not doing university. He was the one that was just sort of like had the free time. It was weird. It was like, but I don't know. I'm pretty sure they didn't think about this when they wrote it.
yeah.
He's just
This is
there.
like when him and the girl started flirting. I thought it seemed like a little weird. I was like, he seems kind of young. But I don't
Yeah,
know.
like I'd get that he'd been her, like just because he's younger and like girl. But yeah, it didn't mean what. But even the way, how that way when like a director films something in a movie and he'll make the choice to make it clear what something is like before you really get to know it. Like so when it cuts to the sexy love interest, it's the sexy love interest. This movie does that, but in a really really half-assed, stilted way. Where it just cuts to her walking her dog, and she got this really goofy jumper on, but you can sort of tell this is meant to be the sexy neighbour.
Yeah.
But even though he's not doing it properly, you can sort of tell that's what this is meant to be.
Yeah.
And then it goes to the goofy dialogue exchanges, and you sort of get it's like, oh, this is meant to be romance. This is. I hate to say this, but I think romance was handled better in Attack of the Clones. I mean, and the funny thing is the whole idea of zombies coming out of a TV has actually been done well, or at least done better, much better than this. As if you've ever seen Demons or Demons 2, they actually have that same. That's the basis of those movies. The first film is the zombies coming out of a cinema screen, and then the second movie's coming out of the TV in like an apartment building. They're both fun movies. We'll probably do them at some point, but
Okay.
But yeah, this was bad. So I think anyone else got anything else they want to talk about in this?
Just
That
another
chainsaw
thing.
death. He just ran into it. Did he even try to dodge it? The bride didn't move. She was just holding the chainsaw straight. He ran at her to kill her and ran straight into it.
Yeah, even the fact that the zombie picks up a chainsaw and starts using
Yeah.
Yeah.
it. This guy doesn't understand what a zombie is.
I was actually pretty surprised that they offed like the main character and the love interest.
Yeah.
Yeah, but see, the thing is on one hand, yeah, that feels like they're trying to do something different, but I also kind of feel like maybe they just didn't know what they were doing when they wrote the script again. Like,
Yeah.
they didn't understand that this is the protagonist and you're not meant to do that. Whereas another director or writer might do that, but that's the point. Like, it's shocking. Oh shit,
Yeah.
we've killed like Psycho. You've killed the protagonist. Halfway through. That's a big shocking thing. Everyone talks about that. But in this, it's just like, oh, I guess they're dead. Okay. I guess we're going to the girl now.
The part that really threw me off, that I mean, there's a lot of stuff that didn't have any payoff, but the one scene where like the like sexy zombie comes out of the TV, like seduces the kid, and then she goes back into the TV
And just dies.
Yeah, but then we see that there's this other guy that's inside the TV fighting the zombies. This the garbage man, he calls himself, and like he talks to the kid, but it's like, all right, like nothing ever happens with that though. It's like, all right, there's this other good guy inside the TV, and like you think he's gonna save the day later on or come out of the TV and help fight the zombies or something, but that never happens.
Although
I don't know, that just like really annoyed me. I kept wondering like, what is this guy gonna pay off?
He was just there to explain how you can defeat them. That's it.
I think
Yeah.
Tim wants a spin-off or a sequel called The Garbage Man.
Well,
there was actually supposed to be a sequel, and then it was
Heavens
supposed to
the
be like
facts.
sort of the reverse. Instead of the zombies coming out, it would take place inside of the TV.
Oh.
So maybe the garbage man could be involved in that, but it's been 20, 25
Yeah,
years.
I think that's dead.
Yeah,
So it's about time, is what you're saying.
yeah, yes.
Kevin, you get on it. You start writing the script.
I could probably do a better job than
You probably could. I'm convinced I could remake this and turn it into at least a 5.0 on IMDb.
Isn't that what it is? Isn't it its actual IMDb score though? 5.1.
That seems quite high.
Somehow.
yeah.
I think that's what it was though. I checked movies tonight to check it off, and it said 5.1 IMDb score.
Okay, clearly some people just like it because it's so bad.
Yeah.
I think once you guys all put your ratings on IMDb, maybe it'll drag it down a little bit. Jesus.
Hopefully.
Right now, it's probably just like the director just rated it himself, and then like one other person rated it, so it's like
Yeah.
probably evening out.
Or he's made lots of accounts with lots of different email addresses,
Yeah.
and he's just like rating it 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10 as much as he can. I'm sorry, Robert Scott. I'm sure you've got integrity. I'm sure you wouldn't do that, Mr. Scott. All right. I don't think we've got much else to say on this.
No.
I
I actually did. My mother was watching my son today, and so I went and I explained to her how I just had to slog through this horrible film today. And I described to her, and amazingly, she remembered it. When she was in high school in the 80s, it was on a rental truck that would drive through the neighborhoods, and you can rent movies, buy candy and drinks to go with it. And she and friends rented it. She said, "Did that have a bride with a chainsaw and the guy just ran into it?" Yes. She goes, "Yeah, I know this movie." I showed her some images. She actually remembers it.
This
Wow.
is. I feel like every week Joseph's going to tell us something about someone he knows. Last week it was his wife wanting her money back for seeing Series 3, and this week it's his mother just happens to know the movie and seen it years ago. I look forward to next week when your grandparents was in the next film. Alright, well that's the video dead, so I guess we'll rate it. How many dead chocolate dogs out of 10 are we rating this one? Kevin?
God, I don't even know what the 4. just honestly, it was there was actually a part in it where it was just so in your face. It was ridiculous. There was a part. It was closer to the end whenever Joe, or the Texan guy, the ridiculous Texan cliche, was given Joe, the teenager, the chainsaw, and he said, "Do you want me to teach you how to use this?" And he says, No, I've seen the Texas Chainsaw Massacre
Oh
6 times.
yeah.
It's my favorite movie.
It's my favorite movie. Let me do that.
And then no, but then later on, like maybe 10 minutes later, whenever it sort of pays homage to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, whenever the teenager's running away from the bride with the zombie with the chainsaw. But God, the dialogue was ridiculously bad, and oh God, 4, maybe 3. It was just it was enjoyable, but it wasn't a good film.
Right, okay. We've lost Joseph, so Tim, go for it.
Well, like, I don't know. I feel like it's hard to like rate it on like a regular scale. Like, if I was gonna rate it on like a normal movie scale, I'd probably give it like a 3. But if we're going like, if we could do like a bad movie scale, I'd probably give it like a 7.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Joseph, just to clarify what he just said, he said it's not on a regular scale. On a bad movie scale, it's a 7. But we'll do a regular regular scale though, because we had a consistent consensus between all the films we do. So you saying 3 out of 10?
Like for that normal scale. Yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay. Joseph.
I'll give it. My apologies for having to leave. I had a father moment. But I would probably rate it a point for every moment that I actually genuinely kind of liked because it was bad. So 3.5 dead chocolate dogs.
Oh, so you've eaten half the chocolate dog then? Okay. I'm in the same range. I think I originally gave it a 4. Maybe I'd put that down to a 3. So we all seem to be in agreement. It's in that sort of range. We're all saying 3, 3.5, and 4. I thought Joseph might be a little too harsh and give it like a 1 or a 2, and I was going to argue because no, I've seen a 1. Like, Birdemic is the 1. Like, that is the bottom of the scale, and this is at least technically better than that, which is shocking to say because it's technically not that great, but it's got better technical. This has sound mixing in it at least. to put it that way. Alright, so that's the video dead. This has been episode 4 of Screams After Midnight. We'll be back next week with something else from the past or the present. We don't know what yet. But we will also have the omnibus audio podcast version of this, which is going to combine the last 4 episodes together if you like the audio version for when you're commuting or whatever you like to do. So that's Screams After Midnight, covering the video dead. So Tim, where can people find you?
You can check me out on Twitter at Tim Vargulish. I have a comic book I do. If you're interested in that, check out facebook.com/goatmancomics.
Cool. Kevin, where can people find you?
On Twitter at momoguy123. I'm basically everywhere else at momoguy123, and that's me.
Cool. Joseph?
I can be found on Twitter at @flash_ms93. That might be changing here soon. I'll give you new details. Also, I'm gonna go wash this movie away with Evil Dead tonight.
Nice.
You can find me on Twitter at Wibble89 and pretty much everybody else, including Tumblr and Letterboxd. And I do movie reviews on there, written movie reviews, so it may be worth checking out. So as always, guys, thanks for watching or listening. Do subscribe on YouTube or iTunes, wherever it is you like to get this. Keep watching scary movies, guys, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
See you.